Well, hi and welcome to my shop. I'm just doing the last few things to put the console completely back together. Just cleaning up the knobs, and turns out the glass is held on by about 4 or 6 simple clips. I was able to remove the clips and remove the glass very easily for cleaning. Fantastic, because it's almost impossible to get on the backside. And once again, the backside warning: clean the backside one of these and occasionally the front side, and you'll clean the numbers right off. So you need to be awfully careful about that. And the knobs here, of course, doing the usual cleaning, and just the caps have fallen off a couple, and I got to glue them back on, and that's all. And then I think it's just about ready for a big test. Okay, are we ready for a test? Let's take a look inside here. So it's come with the booklet for the record player, the Laboratory Series Type AT6. Very nice manual for it. Great. I'll put a record here, but the first thing we're going to listen to is the Bluetooth. You can see the Bluetooth receiver here. There's a slot here, a thermal slot or heating slot. The wires can pass through. It's quite convenient. We'll just set this record up and have it ready. Okay, so now I think I've got my Bluetooth going. So I'm going to switch this on, and hopefully the Bluetooth will come on. Make sure the volume's down here. The knob set wrong. There we are. Volume down. There we go. I gotta plug it in. Such a disappointment. Okay, now we're ready. So I'm going to push tape. It's actually going to be listening to that guy. Tape. There we go. Give you some idea of what it looks like lit up. The little bar comes on here. And this is all fairly nicely lit. I'm going to let this warm right up and see what kind of hum comes out of it. I believe that's fully warmed up. Now we'll just turn up the loudness and see if anything's there. Okay, so I'm going to have to be very careful about getting a copyright hit during this little demonstration here. Correct. Get that guy right. They're all a little noisy. I missed that. Yeah, it's a good old Canadian band there. Fantastic. So I can't be sure what this sounds like on the video, but I can tell you, in the room here, this is fantastic sounding. It just sounds great. Let's give a record a try. So to play a record, push this button, turns on the record. There we go. Let's do a little light in here. Oh, I didn't hook it up in the back. That's the problem. Come on. It died. Turned itself off there for some reason. Not sure what happened there. Here we go. huge amount of bass. Yeah, that's a woman singing. So we have a little bit of a speed problem here. That's not what I expected. But this is really the first time I've had a chance to really test this record player, so can't be too surprised. Let's try again. There we are. Lots of everything. Once again, I'm trying to fight a copyright on here. Well, let's see if it'll shut itself off now. Perfect. Excellent. No hum of any, there's no appreciable hum in this at all. It's wonderful. Back to my. Beautiful. Wonderful. Fantastic. Well, I think that's it. Really a great save going out in the garbage to be thrown away, and soon it's going to be the first time the fellow owns this. I think it's the first time he's had a record player. So he's going to be playing records and everything with it. And he's going to hear them great. Just to go over a game, let me just talk for a minute about how to pick a good console, because here's one. It's kind of all about the record player. So the first thing you want to see in a console that you're thinking about buying maybe is the record player is of a high quality. If the record player is of high quality, chances are everything else is too. It's very challenging to put a high quality record player into one of these. It has to be a high quality record player. If you put a high quality cartridge into a low quality record player, you're just going to hear the motor rumbling. So that's usually the limitation with these guys. They put a fairly cheap record player in. They put a cartridge that can't reproduce the bass, so it won't pick up the rumble. One indication of that is that the tone arm is spring-loaded as opposed to balanced. This is a balanced, counterbalanced tone arm here. Cantilevered tone arm, but counterbalanced anyway. Not spring-loaded. So if you see a spring-loaded, it's not going to be high quality right away. This particular one, this is a super one. It comes with this designation, Laboratory Series. So what they're trying to say here about the record player is that during the process of manufacturing it, the key rumbling components, the motor mainly, has gone for an extra effort in balancing it, getting rid of any rumble that might be in the motor. And they do this in a laboratory setting as opposed to just on the factory floor. That's kind of what they're trying to say. So the real message here is that you can produce low notes with this record player and not hear the rumble. That's the main thing. Now, if there is a console with a record player like this in it, a nice cartridge, balanced tone arm, producing good quality sound, especially low bass, then you can bet the rest of the stereo is keeping up with it. So it's going to have three-way speakers probably, like this one has three-way speakers. Might have a powerful amplifier. This one has an ultra-linear amplifier in it. So that's the key. When you look at one of these things in a garage sale or something like that, don't pay too much attention to the radio. Pay a lot of attention to the record player. That's what's going to give you the hint on the overall quality of the whole thing. So, like I say, this is a great one. This is one of the last tube guys like this to be built, I think. This would probably be in the late 60s, maybe even into the early 70s. I'm not quite sure. I'm really not sure of the data, to be honest with you. But, what a great machine. Too bad we just can't listen to it wide open here, or I'll be copyrighted off of YouTube. So there we go. Let's switch it off. Fantastic. Hey, where'd the record player go? It's back up here on my bench. Because when I played it, I could hear a wow in it. A wow is a slow variation in speed, often related to one full revolution of the platter. So it's just ever so subtly going up and down in speed a little bit. I did notice its traction is very, very poor. So I think those two things are probably related. So my job here, I think, is to just increase the traction more. And we will see. Now that record is by a band called Rough Trade. It's another Canadian band. Don't know if they still perform together or not. I put this lock on here. I don't think that was the right one, frankly. Up you come. Okay, so the first suspicion, or one of the primary suspicions, is where the drive wheel runs on the inside here. Either this is greasy, oily, dirty. It's not. This is really, really clean, in fact. Another possibility is the rubber here is no longer rubbery. So let me just do a couple of little traction things here. Not much grip there. So I'm just feeling with the screwdriver. Okay, so another thing I can do is with my fingernail I can do the same thing. Now, it doesn't feel all that bad. And I can also bend it and just feel how rubbery it is. Maybe we'll take a look at this one under the microscope before we do anything to it. I'm going to pop it off there though. So I don't think I did anything to this first time around, but a couple months ago when I did the restoration on here, I think I left this totally alone because it seemed okay to me, but not so. And just by the way, another possibility is this retention or pulling spring here is not pulling hard enough. That's what gives the force between the wheel and the platter, which is right in here. Just the spring. So another solution is to tighten the spring up, which is a common approach. Now this is really pretty soft. But it could have just the surface itself here can be polished up, and so its friction just won't have the same kind of friction that it would otherwise. Now there's often washers on this that you can lose right away. There's one. Sometimes they stick on the bottom and gone. And those washers are important for positioning this. So that sometimes there's 2 or 3 washers. I don't think on this one. I think it's just one above it. No, there's 2 down here. No, just one above and one below. So let's take a look at this on the microscope, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so I got the wheel under the microscope. I have this white sheet of paper here just to give a better contrast in the view. Here it is. So the white is the paper, the black is the rubber, and what we want to look at is right the edge where the white and the black meet, basically. And what do you see there? You see what looks like a very black line. It almost looks like somebody pinned it in there. Now, let me just move this around a little bit here. Now, I think what we're seeing there is like a hard shell on the outside of this wheel. And my plan would be to grind that off. Let me see, can I possibly do this? Let's see if I can get a view right onto the edge, flat onto the edge here. Okay, so I've stood it up on its axle, I guess you could say. Get a really good view right of the actual contact surface. Take a look at that. So you're looking directly at the contact surface. What do we see? So first we see cracks all along it. Let's see if I can rotate it here a little bit. Cracks all along it. So the cracks come when things get hard and can't flex anymore. That's another indication that the surface is actually hard. It may not feel hard, but see if I can depress it. Let me find something to poke with here. Where'd that nice tool go I just had? I had a nice poker tool here. Well, I seem to have set it down as usual. Don't know what I did with it. Here it is. Here it is. I see it. Okay. Let's see if I can just poke right onto that. Well, it's not that it's not soft. It's definitely soft. Like I can go right into it. But I think there's just a top surface here which doesn't have the grip it could have. So I'm going to grind it. I'm going to grind that surface off there. Okay, got it set up for that. So what I need to find is a screw and nut combination I can do this with. I can tighten this up. Not too much, but tighten it up enough. Well, I'll show you what I'm going to do. Many of you, if you watch lots of my videos, you've seen me do this numerous times. Just tighten this up a little bit here. It's just plastic in there. Oop. Yeah, right. Just like that tube I threw the other day. I ended up breaking this. So now I get my drill here. Stick them in there. The screw's not centered, but it actually won't really matter if it's wobbling a little bit. Whoops, a little bit like that. That really won't matter. Now I need a little bit of sandpaper here. Going this way, I'd rather have it go the other way. It'll throw the what I'm going to grind off here, throw it away from me. No. So what happened there was it just undid itself because of the way I've got it spinning. I'm going to have to spin it the other way. Just re-tighten that a little bit. Somebody was spinning. Oh, there's almost no grip there. Yeah. Okay, now one of the other things I didn't mention was off camera long before I got the record player up here on my bench. I did a traction study. It's so simple. You just get the record player going, you get the platter turning, and you just drag your finger onto the side of the platter and see how much power it's got. And in this case, I just put a little bit of light pressure and I could bring the platter to a stop. So that tells me traction in the drive system is poor, almost certainly because of this surface. But not necessarily. It can be other factors like that spring and stuff like that. So what I've done here is I put just a couple locking screws in there to lock the wheel against the threaded shaft. And here we go. Don't have to grind very much here. Usually the surface grinds right off because it's not in very good shape. Really quickly. Let's see. We'll take a look at this under the microscope now, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, here it is. Let's see if I can just get her a little better focused here. Now what I'm interested in is there's still cracks on the edge here. It's very hard to see. That's just a little better. So I'd say I ground off all the material that had cracked. I probably just ground off like a 1/2 millimeter or something like that. Virtually nothing. Just enough to get the hard cracked shell off this. So I'm going to put it back onto the record player, and we'll do that traction test and see how that comes out. Okay, we'll just put this guy back together here. There we go. I'm going to pop, I'm pretty sure this is done, so I'm going to put this on right now. Okay, don't use this technique. Because if you do it a little bit wrong, it's gone. Okay, I'll put on the platter. Now. There we go. Now, first check is, can you turn it backwards? This thing's got like brakes going backwards, so that's pretty good. Now we're going to have to operate it, so I've supplied temporary power here through my dim bulbs. This is good. This guy has to be up like this. Oh, you're a cat. Okay, we're going to give him some power. Here he goes already. Didn't seem to start right up though, did it? Seemed to be pretty slow. Okay, so traction test. Just drag your finger. That's hugely better than it was. It's hugely better. Boy, I had a cat trying to break right in here. Peanut, what's going on over there? Come on, Peanut. Push through. Push. You can't get his shoulders through. Come on. Come on. Give it a push. Peanut. Come on. Push on it. Yeah, he's giving up. I don't think he understands the word push. I think that's the problem there. So you know what? I think the best thing to do now, because I think this is restored properly, is to throw it all back in the record player and test it out there. And not test it anymore here. Great. Really great. Okay, I think we're ready for another test. Let me just put it on here. Oh no. Ah, not plugged in. Oh my gosh. So the record player is just doing its. There we are. When I brought it over, it wasn't in a stop state. So we'll put this on tape and make sure. Still working. Another Canadian band there. Okay, so we're switched to phono. Oh, you know, I can hear a tiny hum, and I have not connected the ground wire up. Probably where the tiny, you wouldn't even, you know, only someone like me would hear that. It's so low. Okay. Okay, mister. Are you gonna work now? Rough trade. 33 1/3. Oh, that's a lot better. Yeah, it's got strength now. Ooh. That's her, all right. Yes, she has a little bit of a low voice. Let's just move into another song here. Let's try this one. Try fantastic. Let's see if I can find the end of the record. Again, I'm fighting with copyright, trying to not trigger a copyright hit here. So if you look at the control settings, the bass is actually not up very high. There's lots of bass coming out of this guy, and the treble is up fairly high. The treble's a treble cut, so you know I kind of like it high all the time. I must be getting close to the end of the record now. Even if you can hear the needle sound, that might be enough to trigger a copyright hit. You probably can't hear that though. This is a great little record player because it has this light here. It's fantastic. Here we go. Will it do it? So the record player turned off, like all these automatic record players will turn off, because the overarm is sitting low. So the record player knows there cannot be any records sitting up here waiting. So the arm is telling the record player there's no more records. It finishes this record, it then checks to see if there's more records. No more records, it turns itself off. Because these are really intended to drop records. Even though I never did it very much. I pretty much put every record on myself, manually. I would drop one record. I would never put a stack. Well, I guess that's just me. So there we are. She's all finished, all done. I think it's wonderful. I think this is, you know, for something taken out of somebody's garbage. this was an excellent hit. If I had to put a value on this, you know, it's really tough to value these things. Cabinet's in great shape. Technically, this thing's working really well. Has a really cool tube and an ultra linear tube amplifier. It's a beast. Got tons of volume, I can guarantee that. And sounds great. Produces really good bass. Has a nice cartridge in the record player. You know, I think if somebody had this in this condition, even with the radio not functioning anymore because of the wonders of Bluetooth and everything we can do with that, I think this guy's worth $500. That's what I would say. You could compare to, well, what would it cost to go out and buy a turntable and find an amplifier and get some nice speakers, because these are really quite nice speakers here. You know, $500 would easily cost you. So there we go. Wonderful. Really happy with that guy. Okay, let's switch them off. There we go. And again, I want to thank you very much for watching this series, and well, I'm on to something else next. I won't say what it is because I don't know what it is.